It's me again. Hi. I had a realization today that I wanted to share with you guys. So, I said a while back that I wanted to talk about government. Right? What's the purpose of government? Do we need government? I don't have an answer, but I have some thoughts. And I'm going to tie it back into a few things. So, we're human beings, right? We're on this planet Earth. This planet Earth was divided up into countries at some point, nations, by human beings like ourselves. And I'm going to speak as an American, because that is the country I reside in, that these founding fathers, as they call them, based the formation of their nation on something called the Constitution, Declaration of Independence as well, which specifically refers back to God, their creator. Now, those things aren't government, but they are the basis, or should be, that's the intention, and as I understand it, for government. So if the intention for government is these documents that were devised so that okay, Evie. So that everything came from the people, and then essentially everything came down from God, right? From the Creator. When I think of it that way, then I'm like, oh, that's kind of loud, Evie, if Mom is talking. You're Morphle. She's watching Morphle. If you've ever seen that show. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that down. She wants Nana. That's nursing. Then I'm like, what's so bad about that? You know, like, what's so bad about that? I think the resistance that I've had to government is like, no one has any authority over me. No one controls me. No one tells me what to do. And yeah, you know. But what if government wasn't intended for that, right? Like, what if government was just there to protect what you already have, what's already yours? And you might say, I don't need a government to protect that, you know? I've been to, in a few minutes, okay? I've been to third world countries, like, India. I've been to India several times. And I remember on the road, there's times when there's people on the road. I know, Graham. There's cows, there's cars, everything on the road. There's no traffic lights. And
in the woods.
Yes, let me finish talking. And yeah, everybody just kind of figures it out. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not so successfully. You know, it's a lot of traffic deaths. I don't know more than the US. Like, I don't know the statistic. I'd have to look that up. But the point is, when you're there, and as being an American, it's very exciting, right? It's like, wow, you know, how do they do this? Yet, when I come back home, I'm grateful for a red light that says stop, right? A green light that says go. So I think government is part of that, okay? Those things that take the chaos away a bit. You know, I was watching Evie paint today, and she's painting on paper, and she gets to the edge of the paper, you know, and she starts to kind of go off the edge of the paper. You know, like, yeah, no big deal, right? You just clean it up. But then my mind got going, and I was like, well, what if, you know, like she kept going off the edge of the paper and just kept going and going. There would be paint everywhere. Now, it's chaos, right? It's absolute chaos. That's creativity.
Can you do the circle thing?
Absolute chaos. In a moment, I'm not doing it right now. So there's a beauty in that. There's an absolute, just amazing beauty in that. Yet, if that just continues, it destroys, right? My whole house would become such a mess, and that would be really hard to exist in, because I wouldn't be able to find myself, right? That's the thing with chaos. If you have so much chaos, you can't find yourself. You get lost. And I think that's part of being a woman. You know, we embody a lot of that chaos. We do. I think that's part of the feminine. And I could go off on a tangent here. I'm not going to go too far off right now, but that's a reason why, you know, becoming a mother or engaging in a partnership, a long-term partnership, or like marriage, or whatever you want to call it, like these things I think are part of addressing this chaos within us as women. But tying it back to government, and wanted to tie in God a little bit here too. I used to really, you know, just be like, well, okay, my father, right? My father would say, I'd ask him what he believed in, and he'd say, you know, I believe in me, you know, Steve Richter, that's who I believe in. And I was like, yeah, you know, like, I get that. But that kind of confidence, which to me is actually a false confidence and an arrogance, will only get you so far. It'll only get you so far. Because there'll come a point when something will challenge that notion of Steve Richter as my dad, or for me, Amanda Schaff. And I'll break, right? If that's all that I am. So I've heard people say too, you know, I'm a drop in a larger ocean. You know, I am God. And yes, I do agree. You know, we are drops in a much larger ocean. We all come from source, same creator. We all are God. Yet there is ego in that. There is ego in that. Still so much I am. So, who created the ocean? Was it you? Who brought forth the ocean? God. And it's just humbling. It's just humbling for me to be able to admit that and to accept that. And in a way that governs me. It does in a way. It provides kind of a shape, you know? It's just like choosing to be in these bodies governs us, right? Provides a shape, a function, you know, as a man or a woman.
Where's Grandma?
So for me, tying back to
Where's Grandma?
Graham's out there, sweetie.
Where's Grandma?
And that to me is the key to know yourself in this chaos. Okay? If you can come back to knowing I don't want to say if it's knowing God, but having that kind of who guides you. God guides me. You know, who do you walk with? I walk with God. Those things give me who I am amongst all this chaos. Otherwise, I get lost. If I just focus on being that drop in that ocean and that I am, I get lost. If I don't wrap into who's controlling that ocean, who's in charge of that ocean, you know, if you don't like the word control, who's in charge of that? Who's guiding that? And so that realization for me makes me comfortable with government. You know, obviously a government that's not corrupt, a government that functions for the people, that functions from God, right? Receiving its power from God. Then I don't have an issue. I don't. I know myself. I know myself completely, and I'm free in that. So, I just want to share one other thing with you. When I was the whole thing with Evie and her painting, my grandpa used to say to me all the time, don't color outside the lines, stay in the lines. And it used to piss me off, you know? But I get it. I get it now. I get why he was saying that, you know? I get it. Maybe some of you watching this will too. And some of you might be like, And I love you all just the same. But I just wanted to share that. Oh, and I wanted to give a little smidgen about shadows, because I've been thinking about that too. We are the light. Light has a shadow. Light has a shadow. Is it an illusion? Yeah, it is. Right? I mean, you can see it, right? When you see your shadow on the wall, it's so much bigger, like does funky things. It is an illusion, but it's there. It exists. And so in this work that we do, this path that we walk, if we are always focusing on the light, but we're not looking at our shadow, things will be created in the world from that collective shadow. And we've seen that. That's what's happened, right? Pedophilia, human trafficking, all this corruption, fraud, lying. Blah, 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 list goes on. Nobody's looking at their shadows, okay? When you look at your shadow, you don't try and get rid of it. You love it. You love it. Yep. And then you begin to see, as I'm seeing, your shadow works for you. And your shadow, it provides like some punch to you. It gives a little bit of an edge and a punch that you need. So embrace it, know it, love it, right? Because if you don't, you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna do things that are like, you know, like I think of things I was doing when I didn't know my shadow, and yeah, it was not pretty. It's not pretty. Okay, but when you know it, it works for you. You're not controlled by it. You're not owned by it. So I think that's it, guys. I really wanted to get that out to you. Okay. Love you. Have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna go eat something, give this body some nourishment. Talk to you later.